Coming up on AgweekTV, the former House Ag Committee chair predicts the future of ag policy with mostly urban committee members. Minnesota ag groups gear up for the budget battle in the state legislature. Our Ag Week Livestock Tour brings us here to the DX Ranch west of Gettysburg, South Dakota. And we take our annual look at farmland rental rate trends. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Michelle Rook. State legislative sessions are heating up around the region. In Minnesota, the budget is front and center for lawmakers who await official projections. The February report will be released soon, and budget decisions for the next 2 years will be based on those numbers. Ag groups say they're playing defense on the budget regarding tax policy.
You know, we made some big gains over the last 3 years on tax issues with agriculture, and we certainly want to hang on to those. And then there's some things that we need to look at from a standpoint of how Minnesota treats some of the federal aid programs, like the PPP program.
He says hearings are also being held on new CAFO permitting requirements the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency put into effect in 2020, plus a bill to alter the makeup of the Board of Animal Health. In North Dakota, lawmakers continue to debate legislation to change the state beef checkoff program. The House rejected a bill that would have made the dollar per head state beef checkoff an opt-in process rather than opt-out. The North Dakota Legislative Council estimates House Bill 1487 could cost the Beef Commission $1 million per year. Proponents don't want to have the money assessed at all and disagree with the way the commission is operated. Opponents say there's not enough evidence that asking for a refund is a burden on producers. The future is uncertain. And in South Dakota, state legislators passed a bill allowing the State Farm Bureau to offer health insurance. Senate Bill 87 passed the House by a 50-16 vote and was sent on to Governor Noem for her signature. They hope to offer the program by fall and will cover many who have no insurance or who are paying unaffordable premiums. Former House Ag Committee Chair Colin Peterson says the changing makeup of the Ag Committee is bad news for agriculture. Peterson represented Minnesota's 7th District for 30 years before he was defeated by Republican Michelle Fischbach. Today, Republicans control all the seats in Congress in farm country. Peterson says he's concerned that Democrats will have a hard time finding enough members to serve on the current Ag Committee. The Ag Committee had 47 members for many years, but leadership increased the size to 53 so Republicans could get more members. Now the Democrats have 27 slots to fill and the Republicans have 24, but they don't have enough people to fill the committee. Peterson says it's a growing problem for agriculture.
We've got all of the ag districts represented by Republicans. This is bad. I was able to hold things together. I was able to keep things bipartisan, but I'm worried what's going to happen.
Peterson says he's getting calls from people all over the country who want him to stay involved in ag policy, including new Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack. While Congress works on a $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, the House Ag Committee advanced a $16 billion budget reconciliation bill containing aid. It includes $4 billion to respond to the pandemic's impact on the food supply chain and $1 billion to help beginning minority farmers. Chair David Scott says they're targeting those not helped with the previous $50 billion of COVID aid. More Biden administration nominations are moving through the vetting process. The Senate Environment and Public Works Committee passed EPA Administrator Michael Regan's nomination by a vote of 14-6. It will now be considered by the full Senate. Hours of service requirements have been waived by North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Both signed executive orders to waive requirements for drivers hauling propane, gasoline, and diesel fuel. Propane supplies are low due to trucker shortages. 2020 was a roller coaster ride with the pandemic and one of the biggest demand-led bull grain markets in history. So how has this impacted the farm economy and cropland rental rate negotiations this winter? Jonathan Knutson takes a closer look in this week's Ag Week cover story.
2020 was a strange year for most area farmers. Even so, ag officials from around the region say they aren't seeing big changes in farmland rental rates.
As people look ahead to 2021, I think they see better profit opportunities. So that could fuel a little bit of upward pressure.
Trends vary a bit from state to state, so generalizing can be risky. But overall, some rates are inching higher, some are holding steady, and some have dipped. What's happening in Montana is a good example.
You see a little bit of a rise maybe in the trend for non-irrigated cropland cash rents, but for pasture, they're very flat.
Strong yields and higher prices could set the stage for higher rental rates, but 2021 still holds lots of unknowns. So in renegotiating rates, good communication is vital.
I think that communication is key, and just keeping, as a farmer, I try to keep my landlords as up to date as possible.
Another factor is that the prices of some farming inputs are projected to rise this year, and that could make some tenants resist paying more for rent. But there's a reason for optimism too.
Maybe it'll be a little better year for everybody, and they can get it out of the market instead of from the government.
In Grand Forks, North Dakota, this is Jonathan Knutson for AgWeek.
And you can read more in the next AgWeek magazine or at agweek.com. Still ahead on the show, our livestock tour continues with a look at an operation that's working to leave the land better than they found it.
Superior Grain Equipment offers you the industry's best dryer and grain handling equipment. So make the superior choice and get higher quality grains, test weights, and prices while using half the energy. Superior Grain Equipment.
It's National FFA Week, and our team at AgWeek would like to recognize our local and regional FFA chapters and the impact they have on youth in our communities. FFA is an organization that prepares its members for leadership, growth, and career success through agricultural education. These sponsors support their FFA chapters during National FFA Week and all year long. Together, we salute students across our region on creating a brighter future for agriculture. Learn more about National FFA Week at ffa.org.
At North Star Ag, we're more than your short-line machinery dealer. We're also full service, and we're farmers first. That means we know it's not about what's best, but what's best for your farm. Whether you're planting, growing, or harvesting, we're there for all your equipment, parts, and service needs. And we've been doing it since 2009, with the largest inventory and availability in the area. Check us out at northstar-ag.com or call us at 701-361-4790.
Challenges. We all face them at some time. But it seems that ag has seen its fair share over the past few years. Has your farming operation been able to stand the challenges? If not, maybe it's time to talk to the risk management specialist at Martinson Ag. We can help you make the sound decisions to help your operation weather the storm. Martinson Ag, your one-stop shop for crop insurance, livestock insurance, and marketing. We are here to take your operation to the next level.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has a storage solution for you. From top to bottom, we offer the industry's best bins and warranties to protect your products and your grain storage investment. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
AgWeek brings you timely agriculture news from field to fork in digital, print, and television. Fresh every week, join Jenny Schlecht from the AgWeek editorial team and me, Al Windmill, from the sales and marketing team for a deeper dive into farm and ranch stories, along with guest interviews with personalities from the world of agriculture. If you're involved in farming, ranching, or agribusiness, the AgWeek podcast is the show for you.
The AgWeek Livestock Tour is sponsored by Transova and the Stockman's Livestock Exchange.
Welcome back. We continue our AgWeek Livestock Tour this week with a cattle operation that practices regenerative agriculture, utilizing nearly 8,000 acres of private and tribal land. It's a unique family-focused operation that also sells direct to consumers.
Our focus is in letting Mother Nature do her job, try to find a way that we can leave the resource better than we found it.
That's evident at the DX Ranch, located on the Cheyenne River Sioux Indian Reservation in north-central South Dakota. Kelsey and her father, Zach Ducheneau, and their entire family raised quarter horses and 250 head of beef cows in a regenerative production system.
We've really focused on ensuring that we're not just thinking about the livestock above ground, but we're also thinking about the livestock below ground.
That's helped them produce high-quality cattle for 4 generations now. But they realized they weren't getting the true value by selling their cattle like a commodity at the sale barn.
Our entire year's livelihood depends on 3 people in that building. And if that buyer doesn't have a good day, he's not going to make the next bid. And it just drove home the point that we've got to try to find a way to do something different than that.
That was the birth of DX Beef, a direct-to-consumer business featuring their 100% grass-fed beef. Zach says they're capturing a larger share of the food dollar by selling more beef in the box last year than live at auction. Cattle which last January brought $950 per head.
Any of those steers that we're able to keep and sell in the meat next year are going to sell for around $2,500, $2,600 a head.
From 2019 to 2020, we saw a 1,300% increase in our sales.
And that was during the pandemic. Most of their sales are internet-based, and they're committed to keeping costs low for food-insecure families on the reservation.
We are going to price this meat affordably to our community members, because without them and without the ability to affordably use tribal resources, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Long-term, they're committed to connecting with consumers and healing the food system.
And that's really what drives me, is finding a way to help others and to feed others. That's the goal with DX Beef.
Our own Emily Beal also found a livestock operation in northeast South Dakota to showcase. Twisted E Show Goats.
Thanks, Michelle. Today I'm on AgWeek's 2021 Livestock Tour in Lake Norden, South Dakota. And today I am with Jacob and Sarah Ebers. Tell me a little bit about your operation.
Yeah, so we got started in 2016. We raise show goats for 4-H FFA kids. We run about 40 does and have a pretty decent-sized ET program. Embryo transfer, so we're taking our top end of our does every year, flushing them, putting eggs in, recip does. It's done pretty prevalent in the cattle business and pretty big in the small ruminants now too.
Do you guys focus more on the breeding aspect, so selling stuff for breeding, or are you guys marketing more towards market show animals?
We do the show animals and the wethers and market does.
And I've always heard the term that show wethers are like mini steers. Would you guys agree with that statement?
100%. Some of our best families have been showing our genetics or our cattle families, whether it's on the wether side or the breeding doe side, playing with, it is a mini steer. They like to play with that hair, and if you can feed a calf, you can feed a goat.
I grew up on a cattle farm, and so having the goats here, they're more easy to manage. The size is good. Feeding expenses, all of that are smaller because they're a smaller animal. So if something needs to be treated or something needs help, I can easily do it.
And when we're talking about the sale end of things, do you guys hold a sale where customers will come out and purchase stuff, or do you guys do mostly private treaty?
So it's been all over the board in the past. We do quite a bit of private treaty. If we can sell some right off the barn, we will. We go to a couple consignment sales out to Indianapolis and down to Des Moines, and then we'll host a couple online sales as well.
All right, well, thank you guys. On AgWeek's 2021 Livestock Tour, this is Emily Beal with AgWeek.
Ahead on AgweekTV, how the bitter cold has made life tougher for livestock producers this week.
When the water's high and your yields are low, 'cause your fields have no place for water to flow. Just one call takes care of it all. Call on Field Drainage Incorporated. Call on Field Drainage Incorporated. Call on Field Drainage. The experts in the field.
You can get the field results you want in varying conditions with the flexibility of the Summers VRT Renegade. Featuring on-the-fly blade angle adjustment from 0 to 19 degrees. And if you want the simplicity of a super coulter with the ability to move a little dirt, you'll love the all-new Summers Super Coulter Samurai. Go to summersmfg.com or visit your local dealer to learn more about North America's broadest line of tillage equipment and other products from North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing.
Growing up as a kid, Gateway was always the grain bin building and the grain handling people that were out in our area. One of the reasons we chose to go with Gateway was they're the leader in the industry and they are the #1 Brock dealer in the United States. We've really liked the Brock design and some of the designs that Gateway has come up with throughout the years. My best advice would be to just put your trust in them and let them come up with the design that's going to fit your needs.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
Go beyond the headlines with an AgWeek membership. Get in-depth agribusiness reporting, original farm and ranch stories, and fact-based research for the most comprehensive ag news in the upper Midwest. Experienced ag journalists bring you exclusive ag news, insights, and policy updates you won't find anywhere else. Become a member today and get unlimited access to AgWeek and AgweekTV.
Sub-zero temperatures continued in the northern plains earlier this week, but cold stretched into the southern plains, hitting lows not seen in over 100 years. Livestock were stressed, and there may be lasting health issues in many herds. One of the hardest hit sectors has been beef feedlots, with lower performance and market weights on cattle down as much as 50 pounds in Nebraska.
Even though you feed them, their maintenance requirements just for keeping their body warm go up a lot. So the gain isn't there.
Stucco says northern plains producers were prepared to thaw waters, provide shelter, and for increased feed requirements. Power outages hit feed, milk, pork, and beef processors, though in the south, backing up livestock marketings, and milk was even dumped. After our sub-zero start to the week, it looks like temperatures may be returning back to normal. Here's John with our agri-weather outlook.
Weather portion of AgweekTV. Now, our winter is really getting on in years now. We're getting toward the latter part of February. The Arctic air has gone back to its home. We're back to a fairly mild weather pattern across the United States, which looks like it's going to linger for a while. Overall, I don't know that it will linger through the spring, but it looks like it's going to linger through February anyway. And we're back to being generally fairly dry across the United States. Let's take a look at the overall pattern. The jet stream, which was ridging along the west coast and then dive bombing down into the central U.S., sending frigid weather all the way down into arguably as far south as the southern plains. That has rapidly retreated in the past week. The frigid weather, the sub-zero air, is really way up north. We're getting some fairly mild 30s and even a few 40s coming up into the Dakotas, Montana, Saskatchewan. The jet stream taking a much more meandering west to east shape, and it's much further north in our part of the hemisphere. And as we go through the week, it looks like by and large it's going to stay that way. There will be some minor intrusions of cold in the west. Most of the south will be quite warm, though not a lot of hot weather yet, except in the far southwestern United States. There'll be some areas that have some 80s and 90s. Most of this is going to be fairly cold. The blue stuff, that's generally below freezing. And after early in the week, parts of the Dakotas, Minnesota, will actually get some thawing weather. By the second half of the week, it looks like we'll be back mostly below freezing. The frigid weather is going to stay up in the north. And as we get to the very end of the week, we're still seeing up against the Rocky Mountains some weather that is above freezing and a generally mild weather pattern. Also note, this week we're talking now getting close to the end of February. The second week of the forecast, I don't anticipate a lot of change, except the models are indicating a split flow developing, and that split flow pattern is likely to keep the frigid weather locked in as we go through the first week of March. There have been times in recent years where we've been very cold in the northern plains. In early March, doesn't look like that's going to happen. Looks like the frigid weather will stay up north. The real heat, though, will stay down south. We'll continue with a cool to mild pattern through the midsection of the country. There will be a big dip in the jet stream, it looks like, toward the end of this period of early March that will send some frigid air into eastern Canada, and it may just touch in some parts in northern New England. That should be about it. Precipitation-wise, this week, toward the end of the week, there will be, it looks like as the colder weather begins to drop south, there will be some semblance of a snow system that comes out of the Midwest toward the Northeast. I don't anticipate it'll be a super huge one. There will likely be some chances of snow into the northern plains. Confidence is fairly low on that, so I didn't include that in white. The south looks mostly dry. There will be some snow in the Rockies. As we go to the last week of this period, back to dry weather in the northern plains. Great Lakes will have some snow, bit of rain in the middle Atlantic coast, but overall, a fairly dry, warmer weather pattern setting up.
When the water's high and your yields are low, 'cause your fields have no place
With the success of the Case IH Steiger Quad Track and Magnum Road Track tractors, it's no secret why Case IH is the leader of the track. So it wasn't surprising when the competition started imitating us. But only Case IH offers a 5-axle design to give you a smoother ride, more power to the ground, with less berming and compaction. Still, we're flattered. In fact, if we weren't already red, we'd be blushing.
Schedule an uptime inspection for your equipment with the Case IH service professionals at your local Titan Machinery. Our Case IH certified service technicians have the training, experience, and genuine Case IH parts to ensure your equipment is ready for next season. Planting and harvesting windows are short. Have confidence in your equipment's performance with a Titan Machinery multi-point uptime inspection. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH service leader.
The best land rollers in the industry are built right here in North Dakota. And now, they carry a 10-year factory warranty. With sizes from 15 to 91 feet, Summers has the right fit for any operation. Go to summersmfg.com or visit your local dealer to learn more about the full line of Summers field-tested tough equipment.
We're going to talk today about a revolutionary auto steer product that you guys have developed.
We back one of these things in, it'll drain a 40-acre patch just within hours.
What can you tell us about what dairy farmers do to make sure that their animals are happy?
Their care is our primary concern.
Is there still time for producers to get storage bins up?
Absolutely. We still can definitely get something up and ready for corn harvest.
AgweekTV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
Grain prices are near 7-year highs, but the markets are also very volatile, so taking advantage of that can be tricky. The North Dakota Soybean Council is holding 2 virtual marketing seminars in March. Soybean ending stocks are historically tight, so prices are higher but fluctuating more. The interactive webinars will help growers make better marketing decisions.
The whole purpose behind this training series is not only to give you an update on what's going on currently, but more importantly, give you a background on some of the dynamics, what are some of the things that will influence decisions as we move forward, and also talk about some of the tools that people can use to be able to do a better job of marketing.
The Soybean Trade and Risk Management webinar is March 15th and 16th, and then on the 17th, female soybean producers can take in a marketing risk management and fundamentals seminar. It's conducted by Naomi Bloom and looks at the importance of managing basis, delivery point considerations, cash flow, and contracts.
We're going to talk about ways that you can lock in the opportunities ahead, manage the risks that could be there, and ultimately manage some of the opportunities that could be coming this summer with the, potentially explosive prices to come just because the demand is that strong.
For more info or to register for either of the free webinars, go to ndsoybean.org. February is Heart Month, and the South Dakota Beef Industry Council and Sanford Health have teamed up to share easy lean beef and heart-healthy eating tips. Dietitian Mary Alkas says the science backs their recommendations regarding lean beef and cardiovascular health.
The research does show that lean meat, lean beef can be included in a heart-healtty diet.
There are a variety of lean and extra lean cuts of beef to choose from that support heart-healthy eating.
The area of the beef where you're going to typically find that leaner cut of meat will be the loin part of that meat or the round.
And she says 96% lean ground beef is acceptable, but keep a sensible portion size.
It's in moderation, of course. There's the research that shows that 3 to 4 ounces is that serving size.
Plus, she says balance that lean protein with a variety of food groups. You can get more information at sdbeef.org. Still ahead on AgweekTV, a huge insect collection teaches how much they contribute to ag.
Challenges. We all face them at some time. But it seems that ag has seen its fair share over the past few years. Has your farming operation been able to stand the challenges? If not, maybe it's time to talk to the risk management specialist at Martinson Ag. We can help you make the sound decisions to help your operation weather the storm. Martinson Ag, your one-stop shop for crop insurance, livestock insurance, and marketing. We are here to take your operation to the next level.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
For AgWeek, this is Mikkel Pates at Watertown, South Dakota.
We'll look at the positive impacts that dairy can have on the community.
A Minnesota couple has put a grain bin to a new use. Spoiler alert, it's not grain.
This elaborate system of tubing with the downhill slope is how Maplewood State Park gathers sap to make syrup.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of AgWeek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
Insects can greatly damage crops, but many are vital to agriculture as well. South Dakota State University is home to a century-old collection of 12,000 of the known insect species in the region. Of those, less than 0.5% are harmful to crops, while thousands are beneficial. Entomologist Paul Johnson says landowners are interested in conserving insect populations, and new species are still being discovered.
And it's not just the ones in the soil, it's those that feed inside of plants or, for example, in the seeds of grasses, native grasses. And the parasites of those insects, we're still discovering lots of new species.
Johnson says they've loaned specimens from the collection all over the world. Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of AgWeek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com, or you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter as well. Have yourself a great and safe week.